back up into the short start.
Satisfy in writing, man wanted, no Peter Pan wanted, no kitty boys, so boys beware of that.
That's one word. Sometimes you just forget. Hey, listen, guys.
Now we do a suggested set to help you get started.
How's that hot garlic? Best to any 3 items.
Yes.
That's got a big hit mark you can. You might not get that one.
Try the blood orange to one side.
Well,
have you seen a vegetable series? That's something you've been looking into.
Maggie, come on.
Sure is. I think you just heard me say about that vinegar, did you? But less is more, okay? Don't be smashing it in anything. Thank you.
Really patient.
What would you like?
I've just spotted the garlic butter centre.
I've learned a fair read of people, so I can tell generally when someone's on that decisive point of they're in.
My name's Trev. I've come all the way from lovely sunny Devon to be with you guys here at the Christchurch Food Festival. How fantastic is this to be back once again this year? So, who out there has seen the Sheep Show before? Oh, 1 or 2 of you. Guys, it's the same show. Okay, so who hasn't seen the Sheep Show before? Wow, lots of you. Right, those of you who've seen it, bear with me. Those of you who haven't, you're in for a real treat. And this is what's going to happen. First of all, wild sheep will come out of portal. They will come up completely unaided. And they will read their name. You guys don't believe me, do you? But they will. They're going to come out to their own theme tune, and then they're going to come out to lots of clapping from you guys, yes? Fantastic. Oh, and then ladies, we've got the live striptease. No, it's okay, madam, it's not me. No, we're going to get a sheep naked live on stage, and then we're going to pass the show back over to the stars of the sheep world, and we're going to have our famous dancing sheep. So we're going to bring out the first sheep. Now, he's a little bit of a legend in the sheep world. He's a little bit of a hero in the sheep world. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's have a big round of applause for Nobby, the Norfolk. Woo! Here he is. See, I told you they could read. Now this guy here, where he comes from in Norfolk, there's actually more churches per square mile than there is anywhere else on the planet. What those churches did many years ago is that they took the fleece off his back and they sold it to the rich Europeans. That gave the church great wealth, took our great country in many different ways, but we know our history. Unfortunately though, for Nobby, nearly extinct. There's only actually about 500 of him left in the world. Now you might think if he's that much of a hero, that much of a legend, why is he nearly extinct? Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute. First of all though, we're going to bring out the next sheep. She's a little bit of a cutie. I got a little bit of a soft spot for her. It's not because I'm from North Devon. No, we're going to bring her out. She is the smallest sheep that we have here on the Sheep Show. So, ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Susie, the Southbound. Here she comes. She went to Australia, and she went there for a couple of reasons. The first reason is this, her fleece. It is some of the finest wool that we have on any of our sheep today. It's great for clothes that are close to our skin. Things like vest, pants, socks, things like that. She also went there for another reason, and we better come down here out of earshot for this one. She's got some of the sweetest tasting lamb chops you've ever tasted. Now, Nobby here, he likes a jet-set lifestyle in his ladies, and took our Susie out on a date. That date got romantic. That romance resulted in the #1 breeding sheep in the world. He is the sexiest sheep I know. So ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Sam, the Suffolk. Here he comes, yeah. Woo! Yeah. Sam, don't let me down. Read your name. See, here he is. Now this is what happens, kids, if you don't go to school, you can't read. Now, this guy here, he's what we would know as a terminal sire. And for you kids out there that perhaps don't know what that is, it's a great job. He's got about 150 wives. He's only going to see for 6 weeks of the year. All the love, none of the hassle. Anyway, but what makes this guy here so good? Look, what he's done is he's taken this nice big long back off his dad. We can fit a couple of extra lamb chops in here. He's taken the sweet tasting meat and the fleece off his mum. And that's what makes this guy here so good, because he will pass that on to his lambs. Now I said to you that Nobby, nearly extinct. Sam here is actually one of the reasons why. He's come along and he's gone, hey Dad, I can do a better job than you can. Out with the old, in with the new. One of the reasons why Nobby's nearly extinct is actually Sam's doing a better job. Okay, we're going to bring out the next sheep. Now she's our country girl. She's the first of our hill breeds. So ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Belinda, the blue-faced Leicester. Here she comes. Hey Belinda, too many, love. There we go, good girl. Oh yeah. I got a little boot in my big truck. Now this young lady here, her fleece has got a great shine about it. Or what we know in the trade is a great luster about it. It's also got quite a nice little curl. You ladies pay a fortune for that in the hairdressers, wouldn't you? But she's got one other thing. Now we've talked about fleece and wool. We've talked about meat. What's the other thing that sheep can give us? And if anybody here says companionship, I'm out of here. What else can they give us? Milk, exactly. Did you know there's actually more sheep milked in this world than there are cows? That's because it's good for us. High in protein, high in calcium, high in zinc, which is great for the aging process. Look at me, all the way from up there on the Highlands of Scotland. Ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Dougal, the Scotch blackface. Here he comes. I've got to be a bit careful with Dougal. He doesn't like me very much, and he's got a tendency to try and give me a Glasgow kiss. And that's not romantic, kids, all right? Now, this guy here, he lives right up there on the Highlands of Scotland, and he can cope with all their wind, all their rain, all their sun, and all their snow because of his fleece. It's got a really coarse outside, but actually underneath, there's this thick underlayer. Now we have another romance because our Belinda here, she went up to Scotland on holiday. She saw Dougal and quite rightly she went, hello, you're a little bit of all right. That romance resulted in the #1 breeding female in the UK. Ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Martha the Mule. Here she comes. Hey Martha. Pretty woman, walking down the street, pretty woman, the kind I like to eat. Now I'm only joking, because she's fab. What she's done is she's taken the hardiness from her dad. She can cope with all the UK weather, no problem at all. She's taken the super mummy bit from her mum. She will rear 1, 2, maybe even 3 babies all by herself. A big round of applause for Lenny, the Lincoln Longbow. Oh yeah. Woo! Party rock. Here he is. Now this guy here, he's fab. He reminds me a little bit of Bob Marley. Not because of the dreads, but we struggle to keep him off the grass. Now this guy here, he's got, now let's see if I can find it. Here it is. Look at this. 12 inches of length of wool, or what we would know as staple of wool on the top of his head. The longest recorded staple of wool on a Lincolnshire long wool was 32 inches. When I clipped him out 2 weeks ago, I took 14 kilos of wool off his back. Unfortunately though, for Lenny, only about 300 of him left. And you might wonder why when he's got all this fantastic wool. Well, in the late 80s, the bottom fell out the wool market. Farmers went away from the wool breeds, they went over to the meat breeds. Fortunately though for Lenny, he has got over to Australia. We're not entirely sure how he got there. Me personally, I think Bear Grylls took him on a canoe. But he got over there. The Southern Hemisphere do so much more for their wool than what we do in the Northern. But we are getting better with British wool. And if you're going to buy any woolen product, please look for this sign down here. This sign down here means that that product is made with British wool. And that's what's going to help save sheep like Lenny. Right, we're going to bring out the next sheep, if I can get this one right. Now, he's a European sheep. Comes from a little island off of Holland called Texel. We call it Texel. So, ladies and gents, let's have a big round of applause for Terry, the Texel. Here he comes. Hey, Terry. How you doing, son? He's actually got a double muscle on the back end. Now, if you think, from here backwards is where all the expensive cuts of meat come from. This guy here excels. Nice big long back, extra lamb chops, double muscle on his bum, nice big legs of lamb. This guy here helps me as a sheep farmer to produce the lamb that you guys want as consumers. And if you're going to buy any lamb, please go to your local butcher, go to your local farm shop, because that's where you're going to get the best lamb you can, and you're going to know where it's come from. Right, we're going to bring out the last sheep. Now, he's a little bit of a loner, but we love him. Ladies and gents, big round of applause for Harry, the Herdwick. Here he comes. Hey, Harry. How you doing, son? You all right? Now, dear old Harry, he hasn't actually got a lot going for him. We're supposed to have an R there. gets ever so upset if he doesn't get it. But he hasn't. His fleece is really rubbish. It's so coarse, it's almost like wire. His lambs will take 2 years to mature, whereas Sam's and Terry's over there will mature in about 6 months. But this guy here, is the conservationist of the sheep world. Comes originally from the fells of the Lake District, but you'll also find him down with me, down on Dartmoor, Bodminmoor, Exmoor. And this guy here will eat all the things that these won't. He'll eat things like fern, bracken, heather, brambles, and he will keep those areas of outstanding beauty looking the way they should. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a big round of applause for the 9 breeds of sheep that we have here on the Sheep Show? Now, people ask me what I do for a living when I'm not on the Sheep Show, and I'm actually contract shepherd and a shearer by trade. And I was taught to shear about 30 years ago by my granddad on a little farm right on the edge of Dartmoor, and we were shearing something very similar to Lenny, something called a grey-faced Dartmoor, and I was taught to shear with a pair of these. Now, it used to take us about a week to shear 100 sheep. Shearers these days were shearing between 200 and 400 sheep a day. The record stands at 734 sheep in a 9-hour day, and that was held by a Kiwi down in Cornwall about 5 years ago. Fantastic achievement. And to do that, shearers have had to go over to these. Now, these are the electric clippers. Now, when I'm at some of these shows, people come up to me and they go, "Oh, you're cruel, you shear sheep, you hurt sheep." Well, I want to prove to you boys and girls, you mums and dads, you grannies and grandfathers, that I don't hurt sheep by using these on my skin. Here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, look! It doesn't... Oh, actually, it feels quite nice. Feels a little bit like a vibrating feeling, but it doesn't hurt the sheep. And it's a little bit the same as when Dad has a shave, he pulls the skin tight down here like this, does it like that? It's a little bit the same with sheep, and hopefully I'm going to show you how. Now, it's at this point in the show, ladies and gents, I have to give you a health and safety briefing. Unfortunately, the health and safety people in this country are wound just a little bit too tight. Wild sheep in cupboard. I hope door sheep runs out. Sheep travel at about 35 miles an hour on the flat. I will catch said sheep. Thank you. If I miss and the sheep ends up down there with you guys, run. Look after yourselves, leave your belongings where they are, forget the kids, run. Ideal. Right, let's have a little look in here. Oh my goodness. My mum said never work with kids and animals, and I do both. Right, I need a countdown from 5 kids. Are you ready? Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! Here we go. Oh, hang on. Steady, 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 steady. Hang on. Handbrake on. Okay. Now, it's at this point. No photos just for a minute, please, sir. Do you work for the Mail? Okay, what I've got to do is I've got to take this sheep out of 4-wheel drive. What I do is I place my hand under her chin, turn her head, push down on her bum, and over she comes. Pop her back here into position, pop this leg through here, and then we go. Hello, my darling, my name's Trevor, I'm your hairdresser for the day. This is the first haircut that she has ever had. Mums and dads, do you remember your kids' first haircut? They didn't always want to sit still, did they? And if I let one of these little tootsies touch the floor, it's going to be the fastest tap dancing show you've ever seen. Okay, now I said to you that we have to stretch that skin out. And that's because sometimes what she'll do is she'll pop a foot in there like that, and she won't let me have it. Now I've got a little button I can press, and if I press this button under here, she will go, whaya! Now, it's not the best grade wool. We don't throw it away. What we do is we pop this back here. That will get put into a separate pile, and that will get used for things like felt and making me a nice new hat. Now, I did want to see if I've got one down here. Oh, look at that one. Look at that, kids. That's what we call a dingleberry. This is what happens if you don't use toilet paper. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to try and shear the rest of this sheep out now. So here we go, clippers on, up the first leg. Lovely. Now we come round here to what some of you ladies might call the bikini line. Now, some of you ladies at the end of this might think, actually, this chap here hasn't done too bad a job. I'm actually going on holiday in a couple of weeks, so I could do a bit of a tidy up. Now, ladies, we are doing a special today. 50p, I'll pay you. Okay, so we're going to sit the sheep up slightly. She's going to give a little kick. There we go. Up there, right in here, into the first leg, breaking the wool out as I go, so that you can see where I'm going. Keeping that skin nice and tight. Now this sheep is come straight off Dartmoor, so she's not 100% ready to be shorn yet. A lot of people, wool off the top of the head if this was Lenny, a lot of people think that sheep take their wool off, we take the wool off because they get cold. We don't. We take the wool off for another reason that we will actually talk to you about in a minute. But sheep need to be ready to be shorn like anything else. Round the back of the head. Here we go. Up through here. Over the shoulder. Now, we've got to make sure we don't touch those ears, because those ears, steady, good girl. Those ears have got our ear tags in them. Those ear tags, very important, very similar. Make sure we get under there. We don't want her going away looking too European. Not now we're out. Okay, there she's just going to try and get a little bit more comfortable. There we go, down this side. Now this side is what our shearers call the money side, because this is the point at what I'm going to get paid for shearing this sheep. And I'm going to get paid somewhere in the region of about £1.50. One naked sheep. Thank you very much. Let's pop it back in here. Here we go, my darling. It's okay. It's not an oven. I lied. 150 for about 4 hours. Come back later. Now, if I've done it right, give that a little flick there. That one over there. I should have got this fleece off in a one. And there it is. Thank you. So, I've got one whole fleece. Bear in mind, this is the first fleece, so it is the best fleece. It's going to be enough here to make you, my darling, a lovely lamb's wool jumper. It's going to cost, what? 100 quid up the high street in Bournemouth. So, how much do you think this fleece is worth? Any ideas? Go on, how much? £1.50. Where are you from, Cornwall? They're tight in Cornwall, you know. They don't even put the cream the right way round. Okay, nice place to start. We got £1.50. How much, my darling? £10. Lovely. Bit of class here, young man. So, £10, £10, £10. Any advances on £10? £70, £70, £70, £70. £100 sold to the boy with a black hat. Young man, would you like it in a bag? They're 10p. Wouldn't be bad. We said £1.50. You, wasn't it? Are you from farming stock? Are you? Is your mum and dad farmers? No? Because I tell you what, young man, you are nearly spot on. We're being told that this fleece is going to be worth about 60 pence a kilo, and I've got probably 2 kilos worth here. So it's probably going to be about £1.20. Big round of applause for the young man down here. Well done, young man. So, if there's that, if it's only going to cost, get that back for it. Sorry. Why is the farmer going to do it? Because he's going to pay me, the shearer, £1.50 to shear it off. He's going to pay a Rousey. Now, here's my Rousey. And what Rouseys do is they work really hard during the shearing season. They're working for me, the shearer, because I'm on piecework. So what I'm doing is I'm going in straight back into that pen to get another sheep. I don't want to be coming out and tripping over that fleece. She's working for the farmer, because the farmer's on kiloage. He needs as much wool as possible. They call them Rouseys in New Zealand and Australia. In our country, we call them agricultural wool technicians. Very similar, but big round of applause for Shannon, our Rousey here. Well done, Shannon. So why does the farmer do it? Well, especially on a day like today, actually, there was quite a heavy dew last night, and these fleeces got wet. The fleeces got wet, now the sun's come out, the flies have come out. Those flies will come along and they'll land on the back of this sheep. Those flies will lay their eggs. Those eggs will turn into maggots. Those maggots will actually eat this sheep here alive within the next 48 to 72 hours. So that's why we shear sheep. For the welfare of the sheep, not as put out on certain publications, that we do it for the welfare of the farmer. Okay, so who would like to see the famous dancing sheep? Yeah, come on then, let's put some music on. What do you reckon, guys? Do you think we can have a little bit of a jig around today? I think so. Let's put the music on. Here we go. Now, it was during lockdown that actually the sheep came up to me and they went, Dad, we're just, the dancing just isn't really quite there. And I said, yeah, you're right, fair dues. So we're going to have to do something about it. So what I did was I sent Belinda here and our Terry up to London. Belinda, she went off to the Royal Ballet. She learnt how to point her toes, do her pirouettes, do her fourth position, did very well. Terry here, though, he got confused on the tube, ended up in Brixton, learnt how to break dance. But they do a fantastic job. What I'd like to do, ladies and gents, is tell you what each of the moves of these sheep is. Then we'll go through our routine. Here we go then. You ready? Anything at all today, Harry? No. Oh, okay. No problem. Come on then, Lenny. I'm feeling it, son. I'm feeling it. Come on, Dougal. You're going to start? Yes, I thought you might. Here we go. See, Dougal's starting. Good lad. Here we go. Right then, Dougal. Shake your head. And Sam's off. Here we go. Good lad. Shake your head. Work the crowd. Look at those feet move. This boy is unbelievable today. Okay, down you go. And up. Down you go. And up. Down you go. And up. Big round of applause for him. Here we go. Come on. Look at Nobby here. He's already working hard. Look at Belinda. She's off. Here we go. And there's a tail shimmy. Well done. Good girl. Good girl. This girl was actually asked to be on Strictly Come Dancing. She's turned him down to come here. Okay, slow it down for me, Martha. I'm getting out of breath, darling. Good girl. Look, and here he is. He's off. Once you get 120 kilos going, there's no stopping the bike. I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Sheep Show. You're too kind. Ladies and gents, we do like to say a big thank you to Harper's Massive Feeds, who look after the nutritional needs of these sheep. We do collect for the Farming Community Network, which is a charity for farmers who are in crisis with their mental health. If you like what these guys have done, perhaps you like what I've done, a couple of 2p's in the pot would go a long way. Ladies and gentlemen, from these guys here, from me to all of you, thank you very much and goodbye.